Since the Retroid Flip 2 was delivered to my door, I haven't been the same. I've missed work, I've forgot my fiance's birthday. I'm on hour 37 of Sonic Adventure, and I'm starting to feel like even my chows are judging me. Whilst I am being slightly dramatic, I actually can't believe how much this little device has taken over my life. So what exactly is the Retroid Pocket Flip 2? Well, if you've been living under a rock, or if you're a normal person who doesn't usually go down strange, mildly nerdy rabbit holes, then you may not know that there are absolutely tons of portable, handheld gaming devices out there built to emulate games from the past 4 decades of consoles. And I know what you're thinking, can't I just download an emulator on my phone and play them that way? Well, yes, that is absolutely an option. You'll pretty much be able to download and play any game on your phone that you can play on the Retroid Handheld. But with that being said, by doing that, you're giving up this inexplainable sensation that the Pocket Flip 2 gives you. There's just something about having an entire collection of nostalgic games from every console I used to love, all bundled up into this beautifully portable handheld console. I literally can't stop picking it up. I'd love to know what 10-year-old me would have to say about this. Retroid came onto the scene around 2019 with the launch of the Retroid Pocket Classic. Since then, they've launched a variety of different consoles for different types of classic gamers, ranging from a classic Game Boy shape right through to a modern, sleeker looking PSP chassis. The Pocket Flip 2, however, is the clamshell model and comes in at around $230 and is available in 4 different colours: black, GameCube, ice blue, and 16-bit. First thing I noticed when taking it out of the box was the rather odd clock design on the top, which at first I wasn't keen on, but it's now started to grow on me. The plastic has a slightly textured feel to it, which does feel nice in your hands, but doesn't feel particularly premium when compared to something like a Nintendo DS. Opening it up, you're met with a really nice looking 5.5-inch AMOLED 1080p 60fps touchscreen, 2 sticks, which I'll talk about in a bit, a D-pad, an A, B, X and Y button, a start, select, home and power button in the center, 2 volume buttons on the side, and on the back we have the 4 shoulder buttons. All of the buttons feel really nice. They're sturdy and give a satisfying click when pressed. The sticks do look really nice as well. However, being recessed, I often find I can't really angle my thumbs as much as I'd like for games with a lot of movement, and it's a bit difficult to be accurate with them as they feel quite sensitive. If you're a player who likes to claw grip your controller, then you may have a tough time with these controls. The screen itself is on a hinge and has 2 locking positions if you include the closed position. You can open it so it's flat, but it doesn't lock in place. I have seen some horror stories on Reddit about the hinge going floppy after excessive use, but I have a feeling it may have just been 1 or 2 duff ones, as mine feels pretty solid so far. Other notable features on the device are the USB-C port, headphone jack and SD card slot on the bottom, and there's also a built-in fan that exhausts on the back. Whilst they're not physical features, it's probably worth noting that this device also uses Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.1 connections to ensure the fastest possible speeds. Let's talk about specs. There are actually 2 versions of the Pocket Flip 2, each with a different processor. I'll pop the specs for both on the screen now, but I would definitely recommend the SD865 model, as this comes with an improved Snapdragon chip, which provides much better performance. The 5000 mAh battery supports fast charge, and you should get somewhere between 2 to 2.5 hours worth of game time, but this might vary depending on the game you're playing and whether or not you have the fan running. Closing the lid puts the device into a sleep mode, which only seems to inflict a tiny bit of drain on the battery. I was seeing about 1 to 2% drained overnight, so this is really great if you're someone who likes to pick it up and put it down throughout the day. So how easy is the Pocket Flip 2 to use? In regards to ergonomics, it's not the best and it's also not the worst. Being a big old square, I wouldn't say it's comfortable to hold, but I also haven't had any issues with cramping after a 2-hour-long gaming sesh. I am part of the small hand gang though, so others with bigger hands may not have the same experience as me. You can of course plug in a USB-C to HDMI dock, connect up a Bluetooth controller of your choice, and play it on a TV if your hands do start to feel a little cramped. And this is actually one of my favourite ways to play, as the majority of games still look really good on the big screen. In terms of getting the device up and running after first launch, well, that's another story. Retroid devices use the Android operating system with their own Retroid launcher on top to make things look more accessible. The Pocket Flip 2 comes preloaded with a bunch of emulators and allows you to pick the ones that you want to use. The Retroid launcher provides you with a simple, clean overview to see each emulator and the games you have installed for them. I'd highly recommend following Retro Handheld's beginner guide before you get started, as it can be a bit of a complicated journey if you're new to emulation. There's a bunch of learning you have to do up front to get these emulators to work, and that is unfortunately just the nature of emulation as a whole. Certain consoles cause me more problems than others to get going, but that's an issue with emulators in general, as opposed to being a problem with the Retroid launcher or the Pocket Flip 2. It's also worth remembering that this is an Android device with access to the Google Play Store, meaning you can download some of the more modern Android games that you would normally play on your phone. The majority of games I've played so far automatically detect the Retroid controller straight away, though I did have some issues with both Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail. You can change the input method to act more like an Xbox controller for better detection in certain games, though these changes didn't work for me for these two games in particular. Wuthering Waves, however, worked great without having to change anything, and it ran smooth as butter, and I note that it is more than capable of running on high settings at 60 FPS and looks incredible on the AMOLED screen. The Retroid Flip 2 also works incredibly well with streaming services such as Geforce Now or Steam Link. So I've been sat next to my fiancée most nights playing all sorts, and I've honestly completely forgotten that I'm streaming the game either from the cloud or from my PC in the next room. Streaming games on handheld consoles does seem to be all the rage at the moment, and I can definitely see why. So if you too want to start neglecting those real-world important things, then I can't recommend the Retroid Pocket Flip 2 enough. It's powerful, portable, fun, and nostalgic. If you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like, and I'll see you in the next one.